We're going to begin now. This year, Be'etzim is not really on dating. It is a Shalom Bayis year, but since none of you guys here who are married, so it's a Shalom Bayis year for people who are interested in getting married, and maybe we'll try to plant the seeds of what Shalom Bayis means. So when a person is dating, a person is engaged, there's certainly excitement. Wow, I know this person so well. I feel like they know me. I even had one time somebody said, yeah, it's like we've been married for 40 years already. Somebody said that while they were engaged. So what you have to understand is that it's a whole different world. Mamish, a whole different world. And obviously the person who you're marrying, you have a good reason to marry them. You feel connected to them. You feel that this is a person who really can, I can build a home together. We can come to shleimus together, and somebody who I feel has the same values as me, somebody who I feel like really gets me, connects to me. So that's really wonderful and exciting and really great. But there has to be a form of a switch. We're changing something. If you recall from the beginning of the Shurim, the first two Shurim we spoke about understanding yourself, understanding who I am. And that's very important because you have to have yourself before you go in. So a lot of that is about me. I understand who I am, where am I going, what's my direction. Now, after you get married, there's a switch now. Now it's not about me, it's about us. It's about us working together. Now, obviously, that's why we said it was so important to find somebody who you're on the same page with. You're working towards the same goals, because now this person who you're married to is part of you now. So you can't just be, oh, it's me. It's all me. There is now the us, and it has to be a complete psychological switch. This is something completely different than it was before. This might be a little bit scary, especially if you understand what I'm talking about. But if you don't understand, then you probably won't be so scared by it. But there has to be really a real switch, and that involves a lot of hard work. I've had plenty of guys who have only realized this afterwards, and it's for good reason. When they say you're going to have to work hard, what does that mean? What does that mean, you're going to have to work hard? And most guys, even when they're engaged, or girls for that matter, they're, hopefully they're in a bit of la-la land. They're, floating someplace because they're so excited and everything's going to be perfect and wonderful, and that's really great. So when you say to them they're going to have to work hard, so what does that mean, they're going to have to work hard? I'll be happy to do anything that I could possibly can for the other one because I'm so happy. They make me so happy, and they're the perfect person, and everything about them is wonderful and amazing, and that's great. And it's fantastic to feel like that. But what happens when you get married is you realize that you didn't really know everything about everybody. You didn't really know about the other one, me'achus. I had a situation a little while ago where I was dealing with a Shalom Bayis issue with a couple, and I was speaking to this lady on the phone, and she said she was complaining about X, Y, and Z, and I said, "Didn't you know this beforehand?" And she said, "What? I didn't know anything about him beforehand. Nothing. I didn't know. Now I know about him." Now, Baruch Hashem, we were able to work through that issue, but really there's a massive switch. There's a reason, there's a way HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets two people together. As they say, by hook or by crook. HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts people together. And he brings out a certain chen in the other, in one's eyes for the other, that brings people together. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard. If anything, it's when the dust settles and then all of a sudden, the excitement after a few months wears off. And now, there's certain things that I want to do, but I can't. Or there's certain things, I can't, let's just say, give one example. I just can't come home at any point in time, whenever I want. I don't have to answer to anybody. You do have to answer to somebody. You can't just come home whenever you want. You can't just decide like, oh, I'm out, okay, big deal, I'll come home whenever. Yeah. For some people, wow, of course, Rabbi, this is Pasha. What are you telling me? It's a Pasha. But when it actually happens, because we're not used to it, because you're not used to it, a Bachar or a Bachura, more or less, don't really have to answer to anybody once they've hit a certain age. Yeah, it could be their parents are a little bit annoying, and they're like on top of their backs. How come you don't call? Okay. But at the end of the day, that is totally different than having a husband or a wife waiting for you at home and not calling and not telling them that you're going to be late or something like that. That is shows the other one that they are not necessarily, they're not on your radar, and that's terribly hurtful, yeah. And it doesn't come from anything except from being used to doing this. It's not there's anything wrong per se. It's not that the person doesn't care about the other one. You're just not used to being so on top of yourself that you're actually thinking about the other one all the time and being considerate and thinking about the way they're going to think or feel about something you said or did. It's a new way of thinking. One short story, which I probably said here in the past. I met a guy bunch of months, I think it was about 9 months after his chasana, and I met him at a simcha, and he said to me, Rabbi, I have tainas on you. I said, what are the tainas? What tainas you have on me? He said, you never told me how hard it was going to be, how hard I was going to have to work. And to his credit, he stopped and he thought for a second, and he said, well, maybe you did, but I didn't understand what you were talking about. That's really what it is. There's a shift. You have to be ready for that shift. To be ready for that shift, the main underlying yesod is real commitment. A person has to be 100% committed. 100% committed means I'm marrying this person, I'm marrying the person. It's not like one of these, okay, let's figure it out, we'll get married now. What's the worst situation? We'll get divorced. What's the big deal? Everybody gets divorced anyway, so why not, Let's try it out, see how it goes. That is a recipe for divorce. That will end up being Gehenim. Chazal tell us that they used to ask a chosin before he got married, maybe when he got married, matzah or motzah? What does this mean, matzah or motzah? So they bring two psukim. Yeah. Moitze marmi movis zua isha. Yeah. Marmi movis, right? It's pretty strong language. It's more bitter than death is your wife. Yeah. Sounds pretty bad. Matzah isha, matzah toiv. So are you a matzah guy? Are you a matzah isha, matzah toiv? You found a wife, you found goodness. Or are you a motzah guy? Are you matzah or motzah? So I heard from my Rebbe, I think he quoted in the name of a Rav Miller, who used to be a Rav in Pittsburgh. He said a beautiful idea. What does it mean, matzah and motzah? What's the difference between the words matzah and motzah? Motzah is in present tense, and matzah is in past tense. So if matzah, if you found already, you're in the past already, I found her, it means I'm not looking anymore. That's what it means. I found her, I don't need to look. It means I'm solid, I'm settled, this is it. Then matzah isha matzah toiv. Then it means you're ready to work. It means you're ready to put in the effort because this is it. This is where I am. I'm ready. And I'm going to work hard because there's no turning back from this. It's done already. So then it's going to be toiv. Motzah. Motzah means kind of like I'm still finding. I'm still checking. Yeah, we're getting married, but maybe it'll be okay. I'm still checking, still trying to see. That's going to be marmi movis. You're not sure, you don't have that 100% commitment, then what's going to end up happening is that any little thing's going to come up and like, oh, why did I do this? Yeah, then many times this happens from the girl's side. Yeah, girls are in like la la land, maybe even more than boys during the engagement period. Wow, he's perfect, he's amazing, he's fantastic, about a month and a half into the marriage, when he's throwing his dirty socks on the floor and he doesn't clean up his plate and he just burps at will, and he, his personal hygiene needs a little bit of work on it, and all kinds of other things that she found out about him that she didn't know, and all of a sudden, like, what did I do? What did I do? Are any of these things so earth-shattering? Are there any of these things that can't be worked on or changed? Why are you freaking out so much? Why is it so scary? Because maybe I really wasn't sure in the first place, and I was always... Now, this is different than what they call cold feet. Yeah, we discussed already in the past, how do you know that this is the right person? You always have to come back to those things. A person can't, when they're scared like that, a month and a half, 2 months, 6 months, whatever it is into marriage, and they're scared that there's some kind of something happened, and all of a sudden, like, wow, did I make a huge mistake? What did I do? How does this happen? Yeah, we always have to come back to, hey, I went into this in a smart way. This is a person who I do see eye to eye with in terms of our goals, and we do get along. I'm very happy with the other one. I do find the other one attractive. I do enjoy spending time with them. Okay, so we hit bumps along the way. Okay, this happens to everybody. It is quite normal for husbands and wives to get into disagreements. It is quite normal for something for one to do that gets on the other one's nerves. Yeah, it bothers them. How come this one can't? Yeah, as simple as pick up the toilet seat, put down the toilet seat. Yeah, why can't they squeeze the toothpaste normally? Why can't they put the towel back in the place? Why can't, some of these things are mamish shtuyot, some of them. And some of them are very, very hurtful. Like, how come he didn't call me? How come he didn't call me to tell me that he was late? He knows that I'm sitting here by myself, doesn't he? Isn't he thinking? But it's really consideration. Thinking about the other one. It's a new skill. It's very nice, even when you're engaged. Yeah, you're thinking about the other one all the time, except when you're not. Except when you're doing other things. Except when, but when it comes to certain things, there's now an us. There's not a me. It's a completely different way of looking at things. Another example of that is that when you spoke on dates, so you found things that you had in common. You enjoy many of the same things, and wow, we really connect in areas that are like so important to me. But what you didn't get to on dates are the things that aren't necessarily important to you, but still are important to her. Or the vice versa, things that are important to you, but they're not important to her. There's a kalal. The kalal is you have to have a brain shift, a psychological shift, that what's important to you is important to me. It means that I really have to care even if I don't care. And it has to be emisdik. It can't be that I'm faking it. If something is important to you, then I'm going to make it important to me, even if I don't care. But I'm going to listen. Yeah? If somebody has a relationship, let's say one side, let's say the wife has a relationship with somebody you don't know. Yeah? One of her close friends. And one of her close friends insulted her, or something happened and she needs to... I don't care about this friend, The friend could live in a different country even. Yeah, I never met her before. I don't know anything about her. But she's so super emotional about something. This is an example. So, you could, listen to the whole thing. Well, do I have to really waste my time with this? But that's not what this is. What this is if this bothers her, then it's something that's important to me. That has to be the shift. It has to be that, yes, it's true, honestly, I don't care. Except that because she cares about it, so I will care. I'll care about it too. That's a lot of hard work. We don't realize now how hard it is going to be, because anybody can say, yeah, for sure I'm going to do something like that. For sure, it's so easy. Like I myself said when I read a Shalom Bayis book before I got married, and I said, there's nothing written in here, like what they call common sense. There's nothing, there's no chidushim in it. And then I read the same book again 6 months after I got married. I'm like, wow, amazing chidushim in this sefer, unbelievable, brilliant. Yeah, the same exact book. Why? Very simple. Because if you're not holding in it, it seems like a lot of the things, these ideas seem very simple, when in reality they are not simple at all. They are very difficult, because we don't realize that to be involved with things that we don't necessarily really care about is very hard. It is very draining. Like, because right now when you're single, I'm only involved with things that are either important to me or that I have to be involved in because of my school, work, whatever else. This is my life and I have to do it. Now all of a sudden I have to be involved with somebody else's life, which is really my life. But to make that connection of, yeah, this really is my life, yeah, that's a big step. To say this person's life is my life, to the degree that even things that really have no shaykhus to me, I have to care about. It has to be important to me. And it can't just be that I'm faking it. It can't just be that I'm acting, pretending like it's important, because it's important to her, so it has to be important to me as well. So that will come out. If it's not real, it will come out. Yeah, obviously you don't have to feel, it might not even be possible to feel the same things that she feels when it comes to some of these things. But to be there and to really take it seriously, and that is something that newlyweds need to learn how to do at some point, usually after the first few months when all the excitement wears down and they become two regular citizens again. A regular married couple who trying to work on their Shalom Bayis, to care about the other one, to be considerate for the other one, to show really how much you care and to express it. One of the other things, maybe we'll just mention this as well, is that there is I don't know why it is this way, but it really is very common, that each side, the husband and the wife, both think that the other side knows exactly what they want and they're purposely not providing for them. In other words, they all both think that they can read each other's brains. Yeah, how come he's not doing this for me? Doesn't he realize that? No, he doesn't realize. Certainly when it comes to a girl's expectations, many times she gave all kinds of the most subtle hints and right over his head, because guys have no idea what the girls mean when they make these hints. And a guy might say also, doesn't she realize how what she's doing is very much bothering me, or this or that, or I really want this, how come she can't do that? If you don't say anything, she does not know. You have to yes, communication is a very, very, I know we're hitting only on, just every point itself could be a whole shear. You can have a whole shear on communication. Yeah, you can have a whole shear on commitment. But we're just going to hit on a few of the main nekudas. You have to learn how to talk to each other. You have to learn how to express things that sometimes are hard. A lot of times it's easier just to do things than to talk about them. Yeah, but that's not healthy. It's not healthy, because if you just do and you don't talk about it, so that each one automatically assumes something about the other one, which could be way off, way off. Oh, I thought you liked that. No, I hate it. But no, I really hate it. Well, why didn't you tell me? Because I thought you understood that I hate it. Yeah, but you see, it's can it be ad kedei kach? Yes, it could definitely be ad kedei kach. Well, I like it. Why don't you like it? Because I don't. Oh, okay. There's something called projecting. Projecting means that if I like something, she must like it too. Or if she says, if I like something, he must like it also. So therefore, we don't talk about it, then we won't know. So that's very, very, very important. The last thing that I want to talk about on this, and probably for married people, there'll be other shurim, but we have to understand that when you get married, to a certain degree, we have to reset our goals. A person might have goals, and they're coming into marriage, I want to accomplish this, and I want to accomplish that. But when you're married, all of a sudden, there are new priorities that come up. There are new things that come up that take priority over the goals that you had from beforehand. Many times we don't realize that. What do you mean? She knows I want to be a doctor. So that implies a certain amount of Mesiras Nefesh, and she's going in with that. Certainly that is true. Halacha also dictates these types of things. That when you marry somebody, you know that this person is going into this profession, then there's a certain already understanding that because of that,
certain things are important.
There are even halachas about it. There are even halachas about it. That because of that, there's a certain understanding that certain things have to be done a certain way. Even halacha. But many times when a person gets married and they believe that I'm getting married with this, but things come up, all kinds of things happen. And when all kinds of things happen, you have to be ready to change. You have to be ready to change some of the things that you wanted to do, because there's a new priority list. And on the very, very top of that priority list right now is creating achdus. Creating a complete achdus and shleimus. That becomes number one on the list. And it has to be clearly number one on the list. Clearly. And it's something that takes a long time to accomplish. Yeah? Saying things like I love you, like the joke that they say, there was a couple married for 20 years. They come into the rabbi's office, and whatever, they're not happy with each other. And one of the things that she says is, Rabbi, since the day we got married, he hasn't said I love you to me. Not even once. Not since the day that we got married. So he turns to the husband and he says, what? He said, why should I say? I said it once. Well, nothing changed, so why do I have to say it again? Right? It sounds silly, but there actually are people like that. Like, what do I have to do? Why do I have to?
It has to be constant.
There has to be a consistency, and there's a reason for Shana Rishona. There's a reason that, like, hey, I said I love you 100 times in the first 2 weeks, right? So isn't that good enough? No, it's not good enough. Why is it not good enough? Well, because it's not. But I feel it, and there's also major differences between men and women. A man might feel a month into the chasana like, wow, he's mamish. He feels like a king. He feels like this is the best ever. I'm like the best husband. I could teach the course. Yeah, And a wife might not feel like that. She might feel very unsettled, which is why it's Shana Rishona. It takes time to build up this kesher to the point where both of them really understand and feel what it means that the other one is my number one priority. And Shana Rishona Lav Dafka nowadays is actually a year. It could be much longer than that, depending on how good of a job they do in that first year. And many people who have never done a good job, and they can have like a whole bunch of kids, and then they have to start Shana Rishona after they've been married for 15 years because they never did it. Now that's a very sad and difficult situation to be in, because all of a sudden you have all these responsibilities, which is why mamish kedai to do this when you're young, to do it when you don't have any other responsibilities and you can focus on the other. Okay, so we're going to stop here for now. I wish everybody hatzlacha rabba in their quest to find a spouse and in their quest to build a real bayis ne'eman b'Yisrael, a happy home where there's real achdus and shleimus and simcha in the home. Be'ez Hashem, everyone should be zeicher.
Amen.